I'm Ivailo. I hope you hear me well. Um, okay, thanks for the sign. My talk will be short. I hope in 5 minutes. I will focus on the question of the political activism and digital activism, and specifically within the young generation and students. Because it's part of my research interest and part of my experience and as an activist in Bulgaria. Firstly, I want to start with my initial description of the life of the time of we are living now. Um, I think it's early to understand, but when you look on the trends and the tendency in our society, and the political behavior, the activism in online and offline, we can see that I, I think actually the pandemic situation didn't change anything. For me, what I'm exploring in Bulgaria and other countries, it's actually a tendencies. We can see tendencies that are existing before COVID-19 outbreak, and we can see actually acceleration of some tendencies and the closing of paths for other, but in the end there is no something new. And when you're looking on Bulgaria specifically, uh, I think that the main problem in our topic on the youth and young population and students and digital activism is that actually nothing changed during the pandemic, during the lockdown, because when you compare to what is happening now in United States or in United Kingdom or in Belgium, we can see movements, large-scale movements, which are based mainly on young population, young generations, uh, which are showing their political preferences, political values on the streets. On the other hand, when you look on Bulgaria, we don't see the same phenomenon, and it's similar to what we can see, we can observe before the pandemic in Bulgaria. And my point here is that the student activism and young people activism in Bulgaria is at really low level, and the pandemic didn't open an opportunity for them to increase their presence in the media and the presence of their particular issues. We can say maybe a list of 10 or 15 issues that are related to young people in Bulgaria and to students, including dormitories, the condition of living in dormitories, including scholarship, including also what is happening now with the Erasmus exchange programs, or what is happening with the seasonal work, which is really important for the budgets of many Bulgarian students who are using their summer for working abroad in order to pay their fees for their education and to pay their dormitory fees to live in Sofia or other cities. So there are several issues, but we cannot hear anything about this on the media or or in the agenda of main political parties. This is, for what I'm understanding now in the last few months, it's a result which is caused by several factors. I want just to list them, and maybe we can talk about them in the discussion. Firstly, I want to say that when you compare Bulgaria and the condition of young people and students in Bulgaria in terms of political participation and social movements activity, we can see that in Bulgaria we have a lack of organizational strength in terms of resources, membership base, and media presence. Uh, Comparing also to another Southeast European countries and post-socialist countries, Bulgaria has a really low levels of political, conventional and unconventional participation. I mean the participation in elections and participation in civil society organization, or participation in any type of political participation, including protests, boycotts, signing a petition, and etc. Also, we can see that when you look on the young population in Bulgaria, we can see existing inequalities that are replicated across young people and that are existing on the state level. So when you look on the participation of young people in Bulgaria, we can see the existing inequalities based on regional level, economic levels, and ethnic I will say political, economic, and social development, because it is concentrated in Sofia mainly. So young people out of Sofia in regional cities, they don't have the same opportunities as young people living in Sofia. Also, we can see existing inequalities across all young people based on their income status, whether they are from middle, lower levels, higher levels of incomes. Another factor that it's one of the most important is the higher levels of migration of young people from Bulgaria to other EU member states and United States also, which is if you look practically, it's a choice between exit and protest. Many Bulgarians choose this option to exit the country and to find their opportunities abroad, whether a few are choosing the option to protest and to stay here and to build a community or an organization to change something in their country. This is related and correlated to the low levels of memberships. So it's not a cause and factor, it's a relation between different factors that are leading to this really low levels of political participation of young people. Also, there is something that it's really different to what we're seeing in Western European countries and United States. In Bulgaria, when you look on the values and preferences that majority of young Bulgarians, but I will say in general Bulgarians, is the traditionally higher levels of conservative values compared to more liberal, more left-leaning values. I'm saying that because when you look more in depth of the social movements in other countries in the so-called Western world, uh, they're showing more liberal, left-leaning values, which is connected to their social base, which is the young people. In the other hand, when you look on Bulgaria, we don't see the same trend of increasing more liberal and left-leaning values compared to conservative. And also we can see that in Bulgaria, the far-right groups and the football hooliganism, it's really related to declining of the age. So young people are joining more far-right groups and football fan clubs, sport organization than NGOs, liberal organization, left-leaning organization and groups. The last actually they remained isolated phenomena, and they're mainly in Sofia. Um, I think that it's something that we can think about it, because if you look on the world issues at that moment, they are more related to what is happening in the streets in the world in the last years. I'm talking about the climate change issue, and also the issues that is now again in the agenda is what the anti-racist movement in United States and other parts in Europe are talking about.
Ivalo, so I will permit myself to